Hey guys, welcome to a special episode of Rage Bait. We are in our final bye week before we play in the regional round of the AWFL playoffs. We're excited. We're going to take on the defending champs, the Georgia Vipers. Will come all the way up from sweet Georgia to play us at T-Mobile Stadium in Inola on Saturday, June 27th. Tickets are $10. Kids 10 and under are free. Make sure you get out for some playoff football. If we get the dub against the Vipers and move on, the conference championship will be 2 weeks after that. So got a lot coming up on the plate. Everything was pretty much chalk on our side of the bracket for the Southwest Conference and the AWFL playoffs as we get the 4 seed and the 3 seed goes down to play the 2. Now on the other side of the bracket, there was some upsets, but we'll see the Battle of New York. Speaking of New York, the Upstate Lady Predators and the New York Knockout will play each other. I think the Upstate Lady Predators have never beat the Knockout, so we'll see what happens on that side of the bracket. But it all leads to San Antonio, which we got an updated schedule. Everybody did on social media, and the boys and I, and it's going to be a packed weekend down there for the All-Pro game as well as the championship game. And there's some flag stuff on Sunday, but I'm going to have to drive back. I'm going to have to get back to the kids. So if you see me putting around in the Prius, I'm just hauling back up north. So Rep Webb, we're joined by Coach Rock, who's the defensive coordinator for the Oklahoma Rage. So we'll get to learn more about his football journey and how he got involved with women's tackle football throughout this episode. But boys, how does it feel to say that the New York Knicks are world champs for the first time since 1973?
Better than the Spurs, I'll tell you right now. I needed that.
I feel like that's like really a question for you. How does it feel for you?
Hey, it feels great. My whole life, I thought it would never happen. I watched Hakeem the Dream, Olajuwon beat us as well when I was real young. And then I watched us lose to, the Admiral, David Robinson, and young Tim Duncan. There was no beating the Twin Towers because I think we talked about it before. About 99, Patrick Ewing's knees were just shot. There wasn't enough cortisone shots in New York to fix those knees by 99. So I say the same thing about my knees. But I liked how Patrick Ewing was there. As well as Allen Houston. So a bunch of players from the 90s Knicks that I grew up with. And they got to be a part of the championship celebration because, they laid the foundation for the Knicks. They just never got over the top. So America, you're welcome. We didn't have to see Wembanyama celebrate. Instead, he just didn't give he didn't dap nobody up after the game. He just went straight out. And look.
Hey, it'd be like that, bro.
Hey, I know. I'm not saying
when you lose that game, it'd be like that, man.
I know. I'm not saying I haven't done a few things like that in the past myself, but the way that at the press conference afterwards, he was just like, you know what? We should have won every game. As a Knicks fan, yeah. We were down by what? 22, 24?
Every game. Yeah, you should have won every game.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
Yeah.
They won one, but I'm talking about they were ahead in every other game.
Yeah, and we were down by what? 13 in game 5 on the road? At least 13 in the third quarter. And I thought, oh man, we're going to have to go back to the Garden, whatever. But then they pulled it out. So to Webb's point, we won all 3 games in San Antonio. So whatever, sucks to lose. So, winners win. But besides that, have you guys watched any World Cup lately?
Watched the USA game. That's been about it. Because I thought this happens more sporadically, but it turns out, they don't turn around. They play tomorrow, so it's a week different instead of a couple of days. So I guess I didn't understand, but figured it out that, there's some time between games.
They added some more games. I guess what happened from our resident soccer coach out here.
Shout out Smile.
Shout out Smile. Yeah, he's in the know of everything. By the way, dudes like my size and play soccer, footwork fantastic. Be handling the ball. I'm like, bro, you too big for this. Come on.
I always love that conversation. I know we've talked about it before when we're like, what if our best athletes played soccer? And I'm just like, but to Webb's point, we have some big dudes that play football and basketball and we're like, it wouldn't translate. What are you going to do? You're going to have LeBron James playing goalie?
Honestly, yeah. And hey, those big guys, they push power, dude. Hey, it's strength.
I am a believer in the fact that if our main sport was soccer, it wouldn't be we'd have zero problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
my left tackle plays tennis too. My left tackle for the Bombers plays tennis. Didn't expect it. Big size kid out there on the tennis court just doing it.
I know. It's surprising, right? The agility, and some of those skills you wouldn't think would transfer. Tennis is hard, and that's hard on your body on that hard surface. all more power to people who play tennis. It's just not my thing. I feel the same way about pickleball. I don't get it because I feel like if we all played, we just get pissed off at each other and end up just smashing at each other eventually. And you're really close, so you're just gonna get it right in the face, you know. So and if we played somebody else that we didn't like, we're just come on, we're just eventually we're just gonna give in. We're gonna be like, this is my shot from the Lord above, and just Venus and Serena right across. So
She made a comeback, and I guess they're doing a doubles
right.
comeback at Wimbledon or wherever. I don't know what's next. Whatever.
That I don't know if we left Venus and Serena off the Mount Rushmore of greatest athletes, but that was a big miss on us if we didn't include her.
Someone not say. I feel like someone said Serena.
I don't know.
No one did.
Said Simone Biles. I think she was the only female
I said Simone. Yeah.
we put on there.
Yeah, yeah, they were
Serena
like,
up there.
Probably could have thrown Serena up there.
yeah, hand up. That's on all of us here. Not Rock. He wasn't a part of it, so we won't make him catch any.
Yeah, don't.
Weren't here, you get blamed. Sorry.
All right, so we're going to have a great championship weekend for the Emerald Bowl, as well as the All-Pro game for the AWFL, really July 24th, 25th, and 26th. It's jam-packed. So, boys, kind of talk to me about the structure of the All-Pro game moving forward.
Well, it's a little bit different than you've normally seen it, which I think it's kind of cool. It's basically like commissioner versus co-commissioner, and they separate the conference. He's gonna pick coaches, and obviously everybody's got their players, and so then from that point, like he'll say who's head coach and who's OC, DC, O line, D line, all that, and he'll pick them, and then we'll kind of play the game before the championship game. So I think it's kind of cool, but hoping we get some coaches on that, and I think it'll be a good experience. It'll be fun.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about it. We've been in communication with the commissioner, talking about some behind the scenes content with all the ladies coming from around the country, kind of hearing their football story, right? And so really get to meet a lot of women that we might not play against just because they're coming from all over and they just haven't been on our schedule yet. So it'll be kind of cool to really see our football community within the AWFL come together down there. So lots of good things. It's going to be very, very busy. So I'm looking forward to that championship celebration afterwards and the free bus ride back to the hotel. So I've already looked into that. So not trying to look too far ahead. As a dad of two with no nightlife outside of going to concerts for my music stuff that I do, I'm looking forward to the cigars. I'm pretty sure Webb is the responsible party for those cigars. So not to get too far ahead, but we do have the game coming up with the Georgia Vipers. Defensively, we got the DC for the Oklahoma Rage, Coach Rock. Now, Coach Rock, have you had nightmares about number 15 from the Dallas Lady Prime turning into prime time TO at the end of the third and fourth quarter there?
Nah, we only have dreams over here because we are the nightmares.
Let's go.
So I ain't worried about nothing. That was, I always respect, great plays and great effort made by other players. I never hate on somebody just earning it, That's the right way to do things.
But mad props to her. She was just snagging at a high point.
She was. Yeah. Shaking tackles. She was doing it. Hey, shout out for real.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
So where did your football journey begin?
Man, I've always been around football ever since I was a kid. My mom was an athletic trainer and academic advisor for Kansas State University. And I've had Kansas State football players come to my birthday before. I actually sat, when I was about 9 years old, I sat in a film room with the team, and Bill Snyder was the coach at the time. And, knowing what I know now, I'm so mad at my 9-year-old self and not having a notebook out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just always been around me. I've always been around it, and it's always been there when, some things haven't been, So football is just what I do.
Now, you're talking about Coach Bill Snyder, absolute legend. A lot of people don't remember, but Kansas State was probably at the bottom of college football in the 80s. I mean, just
right.
Infrastructure-wise, their performance on the field, like they were rock bottom. And people forget just because he was so consistent in both tenures as head coach, because he came back for that second tenure later in his life.
Mm-hmm.
What he did for the Kansas State Wildcats. Who knows if they would have had, big time football going in later in the 90s, right? If they would have kept up that investment without.
That's why the stadium's named after him. That's why the highway going into the stadium named after him. Kansas State, or Manhattan, Kansas is built around the university. And, football, it bring a lot in. And so, he's partially responsible for the growth of the city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not totally.
Yeah, that's a beautiful drive up there. It's kind of like rolling hills that goes into K-State. Webb, did you ever have to go up there and play Coach Snyder and the Wildcats?
I didn't go. He was gone when I was there. Who was the guy after Snyder?
Who's that Prince?
Prince, yeah.
Yeah.
Went up there and played them when he was there. That was when I was in my little playing dispute time. We weren't bonding. We weren't vibing, me and the coaching staff for a little bit. So but yeah, we lost when we went up there, actually. That one time that I went up there, we lost. Any other time we beat them, but we lost that time. I'm just going to say it's because they didn't play me, but we're not going to talk about it. Yeah, completely different times, though, from when he's coaching to Prince, really anybody else coaching. They're just so solid. Like, they didn't beat themselves. That was the first thing they weren't going to.
They had an identity, man.
Yeah, they were not going to make the mistake that beat them. They were going to make you beat them just in straight football, and that's why they were so consistent. They didn't make the mistakes. They did the little things right, and then when they had good enough talent, they won more games. But
I mean, they had some great runs. I mean, they were probably a game away a few times from getting a shot at the college football.
Yeah, I was growing up around the guys that were the 2011 or 2012 team that was number one until we got upset by Baylor. Yeah, man, that was when I was growing up around them, and it was magical, man. It was one of the reasons why I fell in love with it.
Yeah. What role do you think your mom played in you falling in love with football as well as sports in your life?
So much, especially since I've been with Webb. Everywhere I've been, my mom's been there. I don't know if she got put a job application in, or she just said that's what she's gonna do. But she's a real big supporter of mine. I actually used her car to go up to Midwest City practice today. So hey, shout out my mama, for real.
Shout out the mamas out there. Yeah, because I have another show coming out where I might have said something that will offend my mother, and I have to see her at a family birthday coming up on Saturday. So I just want to say I love you, Mom. Don't watch the other episode.
Look,
don't watch it.
You put out so much content. Maybe she didn't see that one.
That's what I'm hoping. Hope it slips through the cracks.
Nobody don't.
She just told you she watched it, but she ain't really see it.
I know. Thank you, Rock. I appreciate it, brother. So where did you play in high school?
I was on the sideline. I was on the team. I ain't really play though. But you know what I say, man? Those that can't do teach, man.
No, I feel about that.
Trust. Yeah, no, I wouldn't worth the damn on that field, but it's okay.
I appreciate the honesty, Rock. I have some former teammates that have somehow had amnesia or struggled with some other side effect that.
Hey, they think they superstars, huh?
And I'm like, whoa, I'm pretty sure you quit after 2-a-days. I didn't see you there.
You heard me.
Back in my day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyways, because that was like my junior year. We had so many people get relocated because that terrible hurricane and the aftermath there in the city of New Orleans. But I mean, there were so many kids that come out and they're like, "Oh man, I was all this in New Orleans," and then like 3 days later, they're like, "Nah, I can't do this." And I'm like, "Dog, what were you saying? I thought you were legit. I thought you played in the Superdome down there."
Yeah, coming out the South too.
Yeah,
ballers out there.
I can't think of like 5 players like that. So then what did you do after high school?
I got out of school and I just been working, but football is everything I do. It's so interesting. That's all I can play video games, but that's really the only game I play, and that's all I watch. Saturdays and Sundays don't call me because I ain't gonna answer. I'm watching the game. Football is just, I don't know. I've yet to figure out why or what it does for me, but I got out of school, started working, and actually when I graduated, about 2 months after I graduated, Coach Webb called me and was like, "Yeah, I need some help. You want to coach some ball?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll come see what's up." And I went to one practice and he was like, "Cool, you're the DC, man." So I guess I just been here ever since. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
so that is That's your football journey.
Yes, sir.
He
That's about
ain't
it.
telling you the real, like his whole football journey. I've been with this dude forever. I don't even know how many years it's been now, but I trained him when he was playing in high school. So I'm telling you, like he was maximizing what he had. He just ain't there's so much you can do when you're a certain size. But
Yeah, man. That's about it. No, for real. Hey, man, I understand that. And, part of the way I coach is in school. I ain't like I ain't gonna say I was gonna go D1 or nothing, but I wanted to figure the game out. I wanted to learn. I wanted to be better. And that's really how I coach now. It's just the opposite of how the coaches I had were. And it's been working out kind of okay. I just, once you have a player that brings the attitude and brings the effort, you feel wrong if you don't do what you can to get them where they got to be, or where they, at least the most that they can be,
Yeah. Who do you think has been your biggest mentors that shaped kind of your coaching style?
Well, the only real mentor I've had is Coach Webb down over there. But I grew up a Pittsburgh fan, and so I've always the only person I've known is Coach Tomlin, and so I just try to listen to the Tomlinisms he brings and just bring them to life. Like one that's really stuck with me is unique results require unique relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the biggest thing to me. But I've only had two. That's Coach Webb and Coach Tomlin right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Steelers have been so solid. I know we give Shrep a hard time and Steeler Nation a hard time, but I mean, really, they never had a losing season under Coach Tomlin. Went to the Super Bowl. Actually, what, twice? Three? Yeah, twice.
Twice we won one, lost one.
So they lost to the Packers in Dallas when they played Aaron Rodgers, right?
Right.
And then who did they beat? It was the Cardinals. Yeah, and that great Super Bowl that I always talk about. Yeah, with Larry Fitzgerald. So is your college team Kansas State?
Yeah, unfortunately. Because they stress you out right now. But I I grew up K-State guy. Imam.
So with your time with the Rage, what has kind of been your favorite football moment on the field?
The next one.
The next,
I enjoy my time with the Rage. We've been through a lot as a team, and I'm just grateful to be here. And so I don't really have one in the past because we're so progress oriented that I honestly haven't taken time to look back yet.
yeah, but had a great start to the year. Went 3 or 4 games without getting a point scored. I think it was probably the Gulf Coast mystery game, not to bring up.
Yeah, this game, yeah. 3 games played. It was supposed to be like our 4th one or something. No, yeah, you're right. And then on the 4th game, the Gulf Coast one. They scored 12. Really, they scored I think they only scored 6, but
we threw it.
Hey, we'll take them. Don't worry, we'll take them for y'all.
Once you give up one, what's the rest matter?
You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how I felt, man.
I think there's only one other team actively that in the playoffs still in the AWFL that hasn't given up a point.
The Mystics.
Columbus Mystics.
Yeah, they're not. I don't think they battle proof. If you asking me, we playing the knockout in the Natty. That's my prediction.
Let's go.
Top.
I'm just letting y'all know right now.
Well, anything can happen in a rivalry game there in the Battle of New York in that regional round. Upstate Lady Predators, even though they've never beat the New York Knockout. And I agree with you, Rock, that I assume the knockout it'll be the knockout or the Mystic will be there in San Antonio for sure. So, Shrep, do you have a question for your colleague?
Yeah. So, in the world of coaching, Rock, what is your why? Why do you continue to do this? Why do you continue to invest in this sport? What keeps you going, even on the hard days?
I have a few of them, man. And the first one is, Coach, one day I'm gonna be one of the greatest to ever do it. I believe in chasing my dreams. I don't lie often. I try not to lie anymore because my mom used to whip my ass for it. And so when I say that, I really mean it. Okay. But also it's because it's a combination of some of the things that I was mentioning earlier. It's something about this game that I just feel like I'm supposed to be here. And it's something about, coaching. I feel like I should be here. And growing up, I feel like that's all I was missing. Cause like I'm 5'7", like 170 right now. I wasn't going D1, you know what I'm saying? I don't want one of the kids, one of the women, one of the men, or whoever that I'm responsible for coaching the field the way I did when all I needed, I just wanted a chance. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be written off as fast as I was. And so I feel like I coach for them. You know what I mean? If you want to be great, so do I. You want to be one of the best to ever do it, so do I. Or even if you just want to be the best to do it right now, today, or the best of your abilities, so do I. You know what I mean? And so I just do it for them. Really, those are my whys. Like,
Oh,
not to get deeper than the question, but just being honest with you.
no, that was a great answer, and I feel like that was could be a script for an Under Armour commercial back
There
in the
it is.
day.
Yeah.
Under Armour ain't got no good cleats, man. When I
Why
was
should
in, I had
throw
the
in a
Nike Alpha Sharks, old lineman cleats, bro. You gotta get the Alpha Sharks.
White Sharks, baby.
Man, what do you think is the biggest misperception that people have about women's tackle football?
The biggest misperception is it's hard to call it a misperception because it's just a lack of support that the women that come out to play have. You know what I'm saying? We got a great staff here. You know what I'm saying? Even down to, you got strength and conditioning coaches. You know what I'm saying? You got, great O-line coach, great OC, great head coach over here. You know what I mean? We care about the game and we make it want to be played respectfully. Sometimes I feel like the staff that we have standing across from us is, a bunch of armchair quarterbacks that think they understand it, but they don't give the time and effort to learn it for these women. Because a lot of the teams that we faced and we beat so dominantly is they have some players out there. They have some pieces to build around them. And so I don't even want to call it a misperception where it's not being treated respectfully by the people involved with it in order to attract that realness, that competitiveness that, the football that we enjoy turning on our TVs to watch includes.
So then I'll open the question up to everybody on the show. How do we fix that? How do we make sure that, and not just to brag on everything that's going on within our program, but how do we make sure that, like Rock said, when we look across the sideline, that we're like, you know what, they know what they're doing. Like they're scheming, they're making adjustments. You can tell they've had some investment. The ladies are well taken care of. How do we make sure that we see that across women's tackle football?
I really think it's hard to do. Let's start off that way. It's hard to monitor. It's hard to, because in the state of what, it's not big. Of course, we're league, and there's other leagues, and there's a lot of different. There's so much stuff in the pot. There's no way to our system to be able to implement that, because it's, you join, you fill a team, you can pay, you can play, you can do whatever. But like it's hard doing this if you don't care, because we don't get paid. Rock don't get paid. Webb don't get paid. I don't. Hundreds of dollars in gas and hotels and food. And I mean, nothing is screaming attraction to bring quality people, coaches, administrators into this, because they're simply getting nothing out of it. I always make the jokes of Dell from Ace Hardware's over there on the headset. I don't even know what he's looking at. And it is kind of true. I mean, you got guys who think they can do it, and they're posers, and it's hurting women's football. So how you go about fixing it is like, and we've mentioned this before, women's football has to come together, and it has to be one unity, no other leagues and politics and other bullcrap in it. Like, someone's got to find a middle ground, and we got to structure it to where there's not 50 Houston teams in different leagues and spread out across everywhere, and other places of people getting mad and branching off and making their own team in Hattiesburg or wherever. Like, there's got to be a sense of, there's got to be a system involved. You got to have a resume to do it. You got to be able to get in, like the qualifications, and it all has to come together. Not fighting over rights to ESPN, or, oh, I got this, but you don't have that. And, well, I don't agree with that, so I'm starting this. So until something comes all together in one, and you can get quality coaches, you can start to get pay out there, you can start getting the athletes paid out there, and it can only go up from there. But it's really hard to get to that point when there's all this division all across the place.
Well,
Yeah.
No, I mean, again, so it all starts back with what you don't get paid. Like, what do you get from it? And besides, your own joy of watching people learn and apply it, like, I mean, that's got to be where your joy comes from. If you're going to do it without pay, like you want to teach, they want to learn. So as you watch them learn and develop, like that's where you get your joy from. You're like, okay, you've built this entity that functions, almost by itself at this point, because you have little turnover, like you've built such a good structure, you've had the pieces in place where people don't, the turnover on the field is probably the biggest thing in all of women's football. Like, you don't know if you're going to get the same people coming back from year to year. So you have to start over every year. And I don't know if the Patriots don't win all those Super Bowls if they have to start over every year, right?
still too soon, but yes, I get it.
Oh yeah, my bad. Like the Jets. Jets have to start over every year because they have a coach or quarterback. Like, I mean, it's just
Hey, there's one in the supplemental draft that we can get with the second round
Yeah.
grade.
move them off the tables. No, but it's again, like it said, like you have to find somebody that wants to do it. And, luckily for me, I know these great guys turn into great coaches. And like we get along, we bond because we all love it. This is what we do. Like work wins. So you can do a lot of things, but first thing you're not going to do is outwork us. So if you're not going to outwork us, then you got to out scheme us. And then that means you got to put in a lot more time, and just people aren't willing to do that.
Disclaimer, we hope you do because we get bored. Checkmate.
Yeah, we do. We do get bored, man.
A little bit. Like,
It's funny. At the first time, so Webb invited me out, just come see how the Rage practice. Like, it was the first practice I went to. And he was busy, with football stuff at Bartlesville or whatever. And I popped out there and I was like, I'm just going to help him out since he ain't here. And I was out there, went through a whole practice, and, just that itch started coming. And I was like, I committed. I'm committed now. I got to be a part of this.
Yeah, it is contagious, right? And I feel that, and I am going to say this, right? And I get it. It's biased because, Webb and Shrep are my boys and, we go back. But, and I love the Rage, but I mean, we set a standard I feel like everybody should follow. And it's not just the on the field stuff, it's off the field, like we've talked about, like that whole support system. And there's going to be battles that we're going to lose, right? We've had to move stadiums. We've talked about that exclusively on the show, right? There are going to be things that are going to be difficult to make happen, either financial or just getting buy-in, from people to kind of see our vision, what we're trying to do. But I will say this. I'm willing to host a women's tackle football summit in Dallas. I'm sure there's a great hotel there in the DFW area that would love to have us and give us a discount rate for block set of rooms. And let's bring everybody together from the 3 leagues. All right. Back in the day in corporate tuck, it's a lot of what I did. So bringing people together, negotiating, and just cutting through the BS, right? Because that's just how we do it where we're from in this part of the country. And so let's just come together in Dallas, fly in, let's talk. Let's open it up to the women who are playing the sport across the 3 leagues. Allow them to be there and to ask questions and to have working groups, right? And I'm not trying to make this some big corporate thing, but I'm saying that we've got to elevate their voice and also elevate common sense in the room. And I'm happy to do it because I believe in the future of women's tackle football in America, but it's got to start with some unity when we get going forward. So this thing can get rolling, right? More women should be getting paid to play tackle football. This should be something that people are playing as a young girl coming up. Right. We know that our QB1, our all pro QB1, Court Eldridge, believes in women's wrestling versus flag football as a gateway to women's tackle football. But we've got to have it. And the boys have talked about the development in Salt Lake City out west. There's no reason that can't happen across the country. And if you don't want your kid to play women's tackle football or girls tackle football, then try out flag football, try out 7-on-7, right? Start somewhere. And then I promise you'll get hooked on football. So again, the offer's there. We got to find a hotel willing to to host us. They got a nice conference room, and it's got to be Dallas. I love Dallas, and that's a short drive. So if I said Oklahoma, and I do love Oklahoma City, where the boys are at, it's just some logistical errors. So
it would seem biased, but
yeah, it was seen biased. Welcome to Oklahoma here. We like to welcome in our friends from the Lady Force who are in a different league. I feel like we wouldn't get very far if we were just getting a like anchorman standoff. So
no, actually, you know what? We're actually pretty like we good. We get along with them for the most part.
Hey, we play football in Oklahoma.
I mean, it took us. We don't hide behind this. Like when I first got here and we played the Force. I mean, they beat the brakes off of us. No shade to other people, but like some people didn't want to do it after that. And, the core that really like started this and brought the rage back around are like the ones that said, you know what, we don't want to get beat 84-0. And so that's how that was. Now, granted, we had like 12 people at that time, but
And say, hey, dang near the same 12. The core of us right now.
Yep. Came back and built this thing from, starting like immediately after the season. It's like, hey, you have to change how you do things. We got to train. We got to do off season. We got to develop like what we're doing. And they took it and ran from it and they were like ran with it. And they saw growth every single year as it went on. So they understand like you can't substitute the work. And I think that's probably, again, so after games, when we want to have after game, places and we invite other teams, like I want to talk to other coaches. Like that's what you can ask these guys. That's what I said. I'm like, I want to know why they do some of the things they do or what they've done and what they haven't done. Now, and maybe like we can help them and get off on the right foot. I'm not saying I have all the answers because I don't, but I might have some that you don't have yet. And I'm not gatekeeping. I want to play good games.
Not at all.
We want to play good football.
Hey, shout out River City. I think they the only ones that came out.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, we beat them 67-0, but hey, man, they came, broke bread with us, cut it up too, man. They was cool guys.
Good people. They want to play football. And so it's like, let's all figure out how to play like all of our teams. You all want to be champions. So, why not learn from every opportunity you get to grow? Like, hey, because I mean, we were at the bottom of the barrel at one point. So how did we get out?
see, but that's the mentality that a lot of people, and you use the term gatekeeping, and this happens across, I don't care if it's sports or private industry or government, it doesn't matter, nonprofits. So many people are out there gatekeeping when we could be opening doors for other people. Because listen, kind of like Rock was kind of hinting at, competition is good for everybody. Like nobody wants to go out there and just smoke everybody 70-0. Of course, we want to win and we want to lift the trophy at the end of the year and be champs. But at the same time, if we're all raising our quality of play, that's going to raise the awareness and the respect from outside of our bubble. Because everybody within the bubble are like, yeah, man, I'm bought in. I love this stuff. I love what the ladies are doing. But if we continue to raise that level, it's only going to increase awareness and not just awareness, but with that comes, revenue opportunities for the individual players as well as the team and the league as a whole. So there's a lot that can be done, but I'm serious. Like, let's have a women's tackle football summit. I'm down to make it happen. I cannot front $25,000 down payment for the space to make it happen. So Jerry, if you're listening and you're already hosting, I believe, what did we say, Shrep, when we were looking it up? The WNFC, their league championship. Just let us use the star.
Is the 9 Cup something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Let us use the star, right? And I think Webb, that's where we can have coaches come through and we can just like the things that we all know on the call happens, in high school and in college. And there's sharing between college and high school. Like we've got to start having that.
Well, it's like if you want, obviously we do things a little bit differently, especially on the defensive side. But it's like if you want to learn it, you want us to teach you it, like we'll teach you it. Like you don't have to run our offensive scheme. Like I'm just going to tell you what we run. I've run every single thing because at some point in time, you will run something different because
I'll tell you what we're keying off of. Like you don't even got to build the same thing we did. I'll just tell you what I'm looking at, man. Like at least
it doesn't need to be, again, there's football's been around for ages, but so nobody's running anything different that hasn't been done before. It's either it's either what's hot now or it's something recycled.
Mm-hmm.
Being a student of the game is learning as many things, like as many phases of that as you can. So you always have something to draw back on. If something doesn't work, you're like, oh, I know this happened. So let me, it's like, and that's what you do. You want to give that information, you start working it down. You want to give that information to your other coaches, and then you want to give that information to your players. And that's where we are. Our players are learning football. Like that's when you don't have to do everything and you don't have to make all the adjustments because they see it and they now know how to make adjustments. That's when you start growing. And that's kind of what you do it for at this point, because you don't get paid. You do it to watch that light bulb turn on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
The development is the best part, man.
No, 100%. Yeah. It's like when you have a kid, right? And you start watching them kind of go through, and you can't protect them from everything. Sometimes they got to learn the hard way and they got to fall down, but you kind of start to see their growth. So for mine right now, yeah, it was raining here where I live all day. And so trying to keep them out of the street and out of the puddles when we were outside later in the afternoon. Yeah.
Maya ran into a pole today at daycare. It's fine.
Yeah. Now my youngest is like that.
It was great. They sent us a picture, like, oh, this is what happened. We're like, yeah, she's fine.
Yeah. My youngest, like my oldest will punch her or something, and she's 2 years younger than my oldest. And she'll just kind of cry for a second and then go, okay. Like she's tough as rocks. My oldest is tough, but it's going to be like me on the soccer field. When someone does something, I'm just going to fall on the ground and start yelling and hope they get a red card. So I know where she gets it. So, but it also was like, I was also catch me outside, because you have to think in soccer, like I was a pretty big dude in soccer size wise. And so like, I didn't really fear nobody. Again, I'm going to say shout out my mom. Do not forget, in North Oklahoma City, when that team said disparaging comments about you, I fought the whole team and had to be ushered out of the complex. This did happen. This is not an embellishment. I reminded those folks there, and I think there was some from Edmond. I said, you ain't from the streets. It's okay. I am. I was built. I was built.
Hey, y'all let them know. Let them know. Hey, Big Tug.
I stand. I do. I'm going down. I don't care if they kick me off the club, the whole soccer club. I don't care. You don't say nothing about my mama. We're going to handle this right now.
Hey, I understood. Tracks.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I was from Oak Park. They shut down my school just because they didn't like it. So only 5 of us got out.
Religiously in my neighborhood.
Yeah. Until people started living there and didn't have the right zoning for that building. So that's a whole nother story. You can Google on your own. Yeah, I got a lot of emotion coming out, because I was probably going to lose that fight. But, sometimes you just got to take one.
Hey, but you did it, though.
I did it.
Hey, somebody was going to have to go home and change before they hit the club. You know what I'm
saying? That is true. But I will say, in all seriousness, like, I'll put some money up. Like, I'm not saying I'm going to front everything, but I want to make a women's tackle football summit happen. We can make it happen in Dallas. I think we could do it. And, Webb, leaning on everybody on the call and all of your guys' contacts, and especially outside of women's football as well, high school ranks, college ranks, whatever it may be, getting people in there to have coaching clinics. That's why I think we got to have a field as well that we go to, have a combine. I know that we're going to have a combine down during championship weekend for the AWFL coming up July 24th through the 26th. But so let's workshop this later. I love what Rock was saying, that your why is that development. So let's go less serious. It's time for Shrep's question.
My question? I already answered or asked my question.
But your question, you always ask every time we have somebody on.
Okay. I kind of changed it up because it's coaching last, but let's go ahead. All right. Hey, Webb, you ready for this? This is the old Kirkster. You ready for it? All right. Let's see. I'll get the timer out right here, Rock. This is kind of a sideball here. All right. So out of all the 50 states in the United States, what state has one syllable? Go.
Maine.
Wow. All right. That's the fastest I've ever answered that. Now let's get to the real question. All right.
Damn, did I ruin it?
No, that's actually great. I've seen kids blank stare for like 15 minutes, literally. Great. Now, out of all the places the rage has taken us, right? Like we've gone to some pretty interesting places and have to, kind of quickly exit some. And Where's been your favorite experience to play the game of football, coach the game of football?
Oh, it's got to be New Mexico for the conference championship.
Yeah,
Man, yeah, we stayed at Alamo Gordo, and it was just red dirt everywhere. It was desert. You know what I'm saying? Heat waves on the road. We had a hotel. It was like 107 down there. And, you like, there ain't no way we about to go play a game, like a good game up here. And it's a conference championship. But the stadium was in a national forest, Cloudcroft, and you climb like 15,000 in like 10 miles, and you get up there and there's 200-foot tall pine trees surrounding the stadium, and you can like hear the echo, and it was 74 degrees, and it's the way the stadium was placed in between those tall trees was like, there's only one thing here to do. And that's to see who's going to the championship. They just go play football. It was so pure. The air was thin, smelled fresh. It was unreal.
I don't know what size school that was, but if they don't like that is a great home field advantage.
Oh my
That
goodness.
is a great football experience. If you can pack that stadium, I mean, it's
Cloudcroft. Yeah, there you go.
That's beautiful.
Gorgeous. Yeah, man. There was only one thing there to do.
I think it was the most unique placement of a stadium I think I've seen.
Yeah.
And they had a place to serve pies on the way up there,
Right.
like just in the middle of nowhere.
We have
Yeah,
that
was
out
pie.
in Arbuckle Mountains. There's Arbuckle Pie Company down there in Southwestern Oklahoma, where my mom's family, they lived in Lawton, Fort Sill.
yeah, it was
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
fried pies, whatever it's called. But
Yeah.
by the end of that game, like me and Jason turned to like a nature segment because there's like elk moving across, and then like we're trying to go back down after to get to Chili's before it closes, and that's the only place open. But we're sitting there having to wait.
Chili's travels. Chili's travels.
It does.
Yeah, we're sitting there waiting for the elk to cross the road. I think Shannon, like car behind us, out the window, get those deer out of the road. I'm like, okay.
Look at the size of these things. What do you mean?
Yeah,
these
it's
things are like,
an elk.
I'm over the
Okay.
Bronco, and I'm like, holy crap.
No, New Mexico is so underrated. And that's what I love about the World Cup right now. And I know that's trending on X, the Everything app. Shout out Elon Musk, who somehow figured out a way to get even richer the other day with his IPO there for SpaceX. But people just seeing the country. We went to Albuquerque, and then we went to Taos and tried to snowboard. I can ski pretty well, but we tried snowboarding lessons, got a concussion right off the bat. Did not do too well because I never skateboarded in my life, but it was just beautiful. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like you boys. Like it feels
River
right. Like it's just,
a pretty cool
it's
place.
awesome.
It was kind of like
Gorgeous.
Cloudcroft, Red River is, because it has. I mean, there's the national park, and I think it was Samurai National Forest. But yeah, New Mexico is definitely underrated, and that place was top tier. I'm just glad it was different than Tacoma. I mean, I know we all enjoyed our time in Tacoma, but you finally said something different.
Yeah, now Seattle was fun, but nah, Cloudcroft was right.
Well, I thought he was gonna say Hall of Fame.
Oh, Canton?
Yeah.
Man, no, that was a treat, but we lost there.
We did lose, but it can't like it,
We lost in New Mexico too.
I ain't go inside the Hall of Fame, man.
wow. But you went to the stadium.
I went to the stadium. Yeah, I ain't going there. I want to go in there the first time the right way. In my gold jacket.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But now I'm playing. But nah, Canton was nice. And what was real cool about it is, we played in the blazing sun, and, throughout the rest of the little weekend, you kind of got a taste of all the weather. It was cloudy. You got a heavy rainstorm in there. Like, so you got to see the stadium in all the phases, at night. It was nice.
100%. Rock, what would you say to ladies out there that, maybe don't play flag football, but that are playing other sports, could be in college or in their mid-20s, kind of looking for something competitive to do with friends? How would you recruit them to play women's tackle football?
How would I recruit them? Man,
What would you tell them?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm a competition junkie myself. You got to come, just come give it a try. Football's so unique. But at the same time, people can come out, you put the pads on, you give it a day or so. Football will let you know if you belong or not, So I really don't have a recruiting pitch. I'm not there yet. Big Tuck. All right.
Webb,
So don't say that when I go D1. All right. And I'm gonna have to have them. I'll call you.
appreciate it. Webb, Shrep, what do you say when you're trying to recruit athletes to give football a chance?
Quote unquote, hey, you want to play football?
See, that's what I need, man, right there. Something simple.
And they'll be like, what? Like, you want to play football? No, it's kind of unique. You got to find out, first of all, it depends on where you're recruiting them from, right? Because if you recruit them from flag, it's a whole different, becomes a whole different story. Because you recruit your athletes. You recruit your athletes from flag, and they think because they were good at flag that it's going to straight translate. It's like, hey, yeah, I understand you could catch a ball and move when you knew they couldn't hit you. So, and without equipment on. So now I need you to go put on this 15, 20 pounds of equipment, and I need you to catch this slant over the middle. Like, well, is somebody going to be there? Well, they might. I can't.
They're trying to rip you in half.
Yeah,
actually,
I can't tell you.
Will they be there?
I mean, I'm gonna try. Like, I'm gonna try and scheme it to where they're not. My quarterback's gonna try and throw it to where they're not. But sometimes they will be, and I need you to come down with that. I don't know. Have we had any? This might be like a terrible look for us right now. On like, I don't know if we've had any flag conversions.
We've had our players go to flag.
Yeah, I mean, our players will go play.
We've had like 1 to 2, 3, but like it did last. Like it was
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if the
Hill got rid of a lot of them.
Yeah.
Shout out Sand Springs.
That is
Praise the Hill.
I think that gets rid of most. Not necessarily afraid of getting hit. It's when you go from flag to this, which is wild because we're still like it's recreational, right? But like you don't recreationally play tackle football. You don't. That's not you can't part-time tackle football. You can get hurt. That's like,
yeah.
So I think that kind of turns a lot of them off. But it's like, hey, if you want to be good at something, you need to commit to it. Like, I mean, if you want, this isn't something you just kind of pick up. Like you fall in love with this. And I think that's what that's what all of our team does. They fell in love with it. So you can get more, you require more. And so they give you more. There's always troubles, right? Like there's financial troubles, there's home troubles, there's life troubles, and we're there for all of it. Like, we're a team, we're a family. I don't know how many people have helped everybody move on this team.
Mm-hmm.
Except us. We didn't, Rock helped me move, but that's a different thing. But I didn't ask them to help. They would have. I didn't ask them to help me move here because it's 2 hours away. But
a day of practice, that's more important.
But man, that's also part of the reason why you can't be recreational with it. You sacrifice too dang much to not be good at this. Your mental health, your physical health, like you said, your financial health, your everything. You know what I'm saying? Your time. You know what I'm saying? We got mothers on our team, and they sacrifice it 2 hours a couple days a week for what, a game? You know what I'm saying? You better be the best to ever do it. You know what I'm saying? At doing it. So,
and I think it's a really good point, Rock, because that don't come here if this isn't a passion for you, because you got to be locked in, and your teammates are going to see through you if you're not fully committed. Football is going to weed people out like that if you're not all in. We see this, we see this with programs across all the different levels of football in America. If people aren't bought in, if there's issues, with the culture or just the players aren't bought in on individual level or coaches, like it's going to show up and it's going to be so obvious. But it's also like I was in a meeting the other day and this lady, she was just like, well, like you have to answer to your board and talking about my company. And I was like, that would be me. And also hoping my wife doesn't open my Chase credit card bill for my corporate card. I was like, ma'am, if I want to do something and I'm passionate about it, I'm going to find a way to do it. Right. And my wife's going to support me to pursue it. And it might not make money today, tomorrow, 12 months from now, but I'm going to keep pushing and I'm going to keep getting better and reflecting on my growth. And I think that's a critical part of everyone's life, is to reflect on your growth and not be so downtrodden when you feel like, oh, I'm not growing as fast as someone else, or you get caught up in the social media game, or you're like, oh man, I wish I had 10,000 views on this post. I got 100. We get caught up in that and in trying to be what everybody else is, but we can only be who we are and grow at our rate. So you got to be able to take a chance. And so if that would be part of my women's tackle football summit, having a combine and then having a central area to recruit, like, here's some recruiting standards, working with colleges. And yeah, I've got a whole 10-point program in my first 100 days. So we'll put it out there.
Yeah.
Well, and here's also another part of that. Like, I think, again, a lot of them get lost or they don't get developed because, like, you can't have someone come in February and try and play in April. That's just because you basically have to throw them to the fire and they're not ready. Either they're just athletically superior and they'll be okay, or they'll phase out, or you're not training them properly. Like, I mean, you gotta, and I think that's where we did it right. You try and do it right every year, but we had a really good class come in our tryout, like in our first tryout. And so they worked out with us, for 6 months before we ever asked them to put on pads. So we're able to, like, now we know, like, you've trained enough to be able to sustain putting on pads and hitting and doing all that. Like, so now we can see if you really, like, what you really are capable of. And it's like, and that's, and they see that and it's like, okay, great, you're here. Like, now you can help, but you might not be where you can be yet. But now we see you can. It's like, now year 2 is where we're really expecting you to take that jump.
Mhm.
Now you've settled, you've just developed, you've just learned football for the first time in your life. So everything's moving fast. It's like, now we finish this, we get to the off season. Now you really get the chance to grow and study and learn the craft at your own pace.
100%. Yeah, there's so much that can be done with this game as, women's tackle football, like we talked about with Emily Daw, right? All pro player for the Rage, has been at it for 11 years, all the way back to
My
So, things, you kind of weather the storm, just like in anything in life. And so we'll kind of figure it out. And we hope that we can come together and as a sport, right? And kind of get things right. But Coach Rock, we've appreciated having you on. We've got one more question as we wrap up our episode. What is making you rage out this week?
Give me a minute, so I'm not so vulgar. I got to find the right answer, not the one I want to say.
It'd be great. Just bleep that out every time. That'd be good.
The fact that we ain't playing this week, that's what it is. Hey, I'm ready to go choke the snake. Pause. But you know what I'm saying. Go with the snake.
I'm surprised Rock didn't drop a couple games just to be able to play the first round. I'm just going to be honest.
Never. I ain't gonna lie. I did drop a couple tutties in the Dallas game. I just wanted to have a little fun. It's a little vibe. I was like, no, dang. That was good. I took a couple gambles. It's all good.
He did. I had to talk him off of that. I was like, hey.
As a anti-snake podcast this week, yeah, we're looking forward to finally getting out there. That's part of the issues we've been talking about on this special episode of Rage Bait. We've had so many bye weeks, right? Either from franchises folding, or that's just how it was a league-wide bye. What did we go? 2 weeks? We played a game, and then 3 weeks?
Yeah. Because we had
2 games in 42 days or something.
And then the fold.
Yeah. That's tough. That's tough, right? I mean, anytime you get towards the end of a season and you get in your playoff run and running for a championship, you're used to, like, locked in, like, all right, boom, next week we got a home game, or, really the conference goes through us here in Oklahoma. And so it's like, we're ready to have home games. We're ready to get our family out there, and then waiting 3 weeks is tough. So yeah, I'm with you on that, Rock. So as an anti-snake podcast, so if anybody owns a Viper out there, you're probably already not doing too well in your life, or you're super rich and you have somebody taking care of it, just like Mike Tyson and his tigers back in the day.
There you go.
So except someone stole this tiger in the fictional movie Hangover. What a classic. So Shrep, what's making you rage out?
Well, I would have to say, I've noticed it for a while, but this week it just kind of really got to me. It's like when you go do the Walmart pickup orders, of course they go through and they bag it, but like you don't realize it. But when I bring all the groceries in the house and I do the one trip only, that's the only thing I know how to do. It's the only thing I will do. And then you start getting stuff out to put it away. But Walmart does 1 item per sack. So you go through and, like, you're expecting a sack to have like 3 to 4 things in which it can hold, but there's like just one thing in there. And I'm like, what are we doing? Because this is like 100 sacks that I just went through.
I don't think I've ever noticed that.
They do. And like, I've noticed it before, and I'm like, why? But this week, I'm to like my 40th sack. I'm like, what are we doing? And then I got to figure out a way to, throw them all away, get them all wound up, put them in the bags, and get rid of them. But it's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm with you on that because we do a lot of Walmart delivery because just going to the store with 2 little kids is just a nightmare. And I've talked about that previously, but like yesterday, we got a Walmart delivery and, $350, whatever it was. And God bless the lady who backed in our driveway and put it all on the front porch. But it was like, I went out there and got all the bags and I'm like, what are we doing? And then it was just like toothpaste by itself. I'm like, that thing weighs nothing. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Do you care about the animals? Like,
Yeah, I'm like, there ain't no way, like I don't know how Walmart get away with it. One, for the cost of a plastic bag. And you go to places like Colorado, even I saw some of it in Washington where you don't get bags. Like,
North California was like that.
So also super weird, by the way.
Yeah, no, it is super weird because we went to Colorado Springs again, like a year and a half ago, 2 years back. Like I went through down on thing, like you go shopping, like you go to Walmart, you don't get bags at all. Like you just gotta like carry it all out there and like toss it in. I'm like, this is wild.
Where you can buy your own bag to put stuff in.
I didn't even see that there was no bags anywhere in Walmart in Colorado Springs. None.
That's a pass for me. That's how I remember the first time in Sacramento, I went to Target and there was no bags. And I was like, whoa, where's everything at? Well, sir, did you bring your own bags? No, I'm coming to a store. I assumed there would be bags for the stuff I'm buying.
Well, I'm on vacation. My bad for not bringing my plastic bags.
Yeah. So
That's my fault. I don't think TSA would have let them through.
no. Shout out TSA. No more furloughs for those employees. Please pay them. They're doing a hard job. They're snatching up guns and other devices. It's knives.
Hey, one time they took my hair pomade and the TSA agent was bald. Like, come on, bro. I think he was just jealous. You know what I'm saying?
He's hating on you, Rock. He's
Like,
jealous.
lather your shit and see what's up with it, though, when you take it from me.
Rock, do you assume they just divvy up all that stuff when they snatch it up if it's not like a weapon or chemical or something?
Yeah, man. They probably
Anybody
resell
want
it. 'Cause
this?
it was good stuff, bro.
I've seen it thrown in the trash from people before me and after me, and even my aftershave from Mexico just went in the trash. I'm like, why?
Yeah. Well, it could be a trash can, but actually there's nothing else that goes in it except those items. And so they come wheel it out later. So
It's a different color bag. Yeah.
I got even cream. Yeah.
they got somebody's boy is swinging by later with the cart being like,
What? Hey, I'll take
What?
it to the dump for you. No.
Yeah.
I got it.
I got
That's
it.
like the wife texts you, hey, we need toothpaste before you come home. I got it.
I got it. It's already open. Nah, it's all right. They didn't use it more than once or twice before they brought it. It's all right. So, Webb, what's making you rage out this week?
I will say that the streaming service Carousel making me rage out because we started a new show called From, which I'm about to watch when we get off of here. That is on MGM Plus, which nobody owns an MGM Plus subscription. It's just not a thing. But
I didn't know that was.
exactly my point. So, but you don't just straight up buy an MGM Plus subscription. You buy it on Amazon Prime as an add-on.
Amazon Prime's the worst about that.
They're like the pimps of all the streaming services.
You can buy Amazon plus
Yeah.
from. Like, no, I already got plus though, because I don't want the commercials.
Now, with that being said, there's only one show I want to watch on there, and I got 2 months for like 99 cents. So I just got to finish this show in 2 months and then cancel it, I guess, until the next season.
If you remember, Webb.
I said I put a reminder on my phone. Lauren made me put a reminder on my phone to cancel it. So I got it.
That show does look good. So the main actor, he was on Lost, and I love Lost. He was Michael. Man, that relationship with his son and that dynamic on that show. I started to rewatch it probably 6 months ago, and then I just don't watch a lot of stuff because I'm always making stuff, so I just never watched it in my own time of TV. I watched a lot of Peppa Pig, Bluey. All right. So, I get down. I'm glad for the switch to Peppa Pig because I couldn't do any more Bluey 8-minute episodes, especially in the car. You got to reach back there and switch your phone. And they're like, it won't go to the next episode. And I'm like trying to swerve, not hit a pole or another car just because
Lauren's listening to you. She's like, yep.
Yep. I want another one. Just take your sock off and use your toe. I don't care. I'll get a new phone in September. God bless.
My kid's going to be sick of me because if we on road trips, we're going to be watching the top 10 greatest Steelers games of all time.
They're going to have it memorized.
Yeah. You see,
They're going to be color commentating.
You see the way he climbed up to jump over the pile? That's going to be you. You run a mile.
You straight up.
The extra subscriptions, add-ons, and all that stuff is probably the biggest rage out I have right now.
So I'll couple that. I have one I want to talk about, but my kids my father-in-law just bought them some Amazon tablets, like whatever they're called, the Fire tablets. Yeah. I have all Apple stuff for personal and business. So they're super complicated because it's like you have to add on all the apps within the parent control. And it's great to make sure the kids aren't watching like something crazy, but you have to download everything. And it's not as simple as like if you go on your iPad and you just go to Netflix and hit download. Like it doesn't work like that. Like it's like what Webb is talking about. It's like a plus on a plus on a plus. And I'm just like trying to hurry up and add 5 shows for them to watch as we were driving to Grand Lake a couple weeks ago. And I was just like, what are we doing, guys?
Well, we thought we had it like locked up, and then we're driving. And I'm driving, I listen, and I start hearing like Kevin Hart, but like comedy special, like raw Kevin Hart. And I'm like, what? Hold up. I read back and she's watching the Kevin Hart special on like Netflix. I'm like, how did she even get to this?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Well, Amazon does a good job on those Fire tablets. I think I have them down here in the studio somewhere. Yeah, there they are. I would say my rage out this week is people who try to big time you, right? I think people who try to be like, open the door for you, try to big time you, and you're just like, but really at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, what people are going to remember about you is how you treat other people and how you made them feel. So it's the same thing that we do within the football world, like Coach Rock and everybody's been saying about coaching, right? It's how you make those people feel in that moment, even if they're not going to grow up and be the next Mike Vick or whoever it may be. Not Mike Vick of the Steeler era. I'm talking about Mike Vick, Atlanta Falcon Mike Vick. Right. I'm sorry, Rock.
Hey, he won a game or two. I remember that game against the Chargers. Him and Le'Veon, they stuck it out.
Yeah, don't look at Le'Veon's social media. I've said this before, but don't look at it.
Hey man, look, yeah.
We just got timed and wasn't able to get into Streamer University.
Yeah,
looking at it.
Yeah,
he's gonna be all pro. Funny ass.
But yeah, I got put on a speaker call that I didn't know I was gonna get put on, and just trying to somebody big time you and big time me in that moment, and I was just like, I don't like to be that person, be like, here's a link. Let me drop a link and you can see my credentials. But that's how I felt in that moment. But I think it's like having the ability to make that person feel like they got a dub on you and just be the bigger person. But it'll come back around. So that's my rage out.
Always.
It'll come back around. If you remain true to yourself and who you are and making positive impacts on people and leaving some behind that's greater than anything commercial or monetary, that's what'll matter. So as we get serious to wrap up Rage Bait this week. But again, anti-snakes out there. If you got a snake pet and you're in the Rage Bait family, have somebody watch it for you. Don't look at it. Still feed it. We're not promoting animal abuse. Still feed it.
Don't catch it on fire.
Don't catch it on fire.
I just better not see you Saturday at 7 p.m. when kicker boot that ball off. Ain't no telling what's going to happen. Lock them up.
Well, if anybody brings a pet snake out, they're about to lose their life anyways. Like,
listen, in Inola, it's open hunting season on snakes any day of the week.
Yeah, crawfish during the last game. It was on the middle of the field before you got there, Tuck.
Really?
There was a crawfish. It was standing right in front of us. Don't you remember that Court went and picked it up?
That's what I said. Oh yeah,
yeah.
We had snakes and crawdads out there.
Well, we
playing in the swamp.
I can't get past your like lock them up. I'm just want to like put in the Trump voice, lock her up. Except we substitute Hillary Clinton's face with the Georgia Vipers logo.
Put them in there.
We can do that with AI. So that's more of a Shrep question because Shrep is the king of funny memes.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out the graphics guy, man.
Yeah, he gets after it. Give him his due. If we had awards for the AWFL for social media, the crown would be coming to Oklahoma, and Shrep would be lifting that crown.
Hey, I made sure of it. Hey, Tuck, we did the team photo, whatnot, when he put out the whole team roster, whatever. He made me look as tall as them. I said, yeah, I like Shrimp, man. That's my guy.
He up with us.
Well, we look forward to seeing everybody out for the regional round of the AWFL playoffs there in Inola at T-Mobile Stadium on Saturday, June 27, as we take on the defending Emerald Bowl champions, the Georgia Vipers, coming up as the 4 seed, us being the 1 seed. So come out, $10. If you got a kid 10 or under, they're free. Come out and support women's tackle football. So for Rock and Shrep and Webb, I'm Tuck. Let's rage.